Alright, I'm back to this trailer. I am going to be taking these two wheels off right here, and I'm going to be checking the wheel bearings. They haven't been checked in, I don't know, at least 5 years. So I'm going to pop the wheels off, and then I'm going to tap around this cap right here to get that off. Alright, cap's off. It's got grease in it. I don't know, doesn't look too bad. It does look like it's drying up. It's breaking apart. I don't know if you can see that, or the camera's gonna focus, but the grease is kind of cracked in there. I'm going to clean this up right here, and underneath this there's a nut and a cotter pin. I'm going to remove the cotter pin, and then this whole hub here will be able to come off. And yes, I know it's missing a stud. I'm going to replace that soon also. Alright, you can see what the torque is like on the nut. There basically is no torque. Whenever I put it back together, I'm going to tighten it while I'm spinning it and then back it off to the next thread. This nut does have a ton of play, which is not necessarily bad. There's really no back and forth play, so the bearings are pretty tight in there. You know, just with this as is, but I still want to check them out. So I'm going to pull this cotter pin. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. Alright, cotter pin's out. I have new ones, so I am going to put a new one in. It's not worth losing a wheel off of this trailer because the cotter pin broke, because I reused it when I shouldn't have, and it came loose, and then this nut spins off. Alright, so I should be able to just pop this out. Here's the bearing. Let me clean that up a little bit. Really small bearings, I mean, they're not very big. I work on airplanes. The bearings are way bigger than this. Alright, so far they look pretty good. This grease really stinks though. This camera isn't focusing very well, but the bearings look, this bearing looks good. Let me pop the rest of the hub off. Okay, in there is a race that it rides on. Oh, right here there's a tapered race that I'm going to inspect and look at too. They are a press fit, so they don't need to come out necessarily, but and I'm probably going to leave them in because these bearings don't look bad. Okay, I'm going to clean up this shaft and see how it looks. And there's a washer also that nut was riding on, which it looks just fine. It looks like the cotter pin wore a groove into it though, as you can see right there, because this is just a standard, it's just a washer, but it's got that groove the whole way around it. So that's not good, but it won't hurt anything. Nothing that I'm concerned about. Okay, back here looks alright. And the shaft is not damaged by any means or anything. So let's see what this. Ooh. This right here is a seal to keep water and everything out, which I am going to have to remove. Which I'm probably gonna have to put the camera down to get that out to check this bearing. All right, I'm gonna show you how I'm getting this seal out. I have a chisel here that I am sliding right underneath the seal. I'm holding it like that and hitting it with the dead blow hammer, and you can see it's starting to come up. I don't know if I'm damaging it or not. If I am, then I'll just replace it. It's not gonna be a big deal, but that's how I'm removing it, so I could check that F bearing. Doesn't make sense to do to take this all apart and not check the F bearing. These are probably pretty cheap. I don't know an exact price, but I'm guessing they're less than $5 each. So if I have to replace those, that's what I'll do. I'm gonna continue getting that out, and then we'll check that bearing. All right, I got it out with a few more punches. I'll take this over here and see what it looks like. Doesn't look damaged by any means, so we'll maybe it's got a little wave to it right there. But this is just a equipment trailer, so it's not like I put it in and out of the lake or anything like that. So as long as the seal around as long as this plastic seal around there is still good, I'm really not all that worried about it. All right, this thing is disgusting. Okay, this bearing looks really good too. So I'm gonna do all four. I'm gonna check all four and repack them with fresh grease. Okay, so camera's at a kind of funny angle, but to properly pack a bearing, you want to take the open end here and you want to push it down in, like against your palm, and just keep doing that the whole way around, and it will pack grease up into it. I'm not sure if you can see that right there, but it is gathering the grease and pushing it up into that crack, so you can actually see it starting to come up through the back side right in that gap right there. That's the correct way to pack a bearing if you don't have a packer. It pushes the old grease to the top, puts new grease in it. This will show you better. Hopefully the camera's focusing, but you can see the little dabs of grease that are starting to come out. They're pushing from this side up through to the other side. All right, I have both of those bearings greased. I'm using a synthetic wheel bearing grease that I got from Tractor Supply. What I'm going to do next is clean the inside of this out, get all this old grease out, and then I'm going to put the aft wheel bearing back in, and I'm going to pack the front full of grease back to this wheel bearing. As I push it on, some of that grease is going to come out. I'll just put it back in the tube. It's no big deal, since it'll all be clean grease, and the shaft on that axle is clean. All right, I cleaned that all out. The bearing races on both sides look fine, so it's going to go back together. One thing I was thinking about while I was doing that was this, even though it's a little bent, one way to know if this is still good, like this is still really pliable, so it'll still grip the inside of that. But one way to know if it's still good is to look in the inside of your wheel wells here. If you have grease starting to sling on the inside there, or you see it on the back side of your tire, that's one way to know that that seal is going bad. That if there's grease getting past it, it'll be on the inside of your tire or on the inside of your tire well. Alright, the grease cap, or whatever you want to call it, at the back is on. Wheel bearings in, front wheel bearing washer, and then the nut. What I did is I went ahead and put this on, and I took it to as tight as I could get it while I was spinning it, which the hole is right under my finger. It's right under this castle on the castle nut, and that's as tight as I can get it. So what I'm going to do is take it back just far enough that it makes it back to the hole, and then it has a very small amount of play, but you don't want it. If I were to take it all the way to this next castle on the castle nut, it would be too tight, and it would make the bearings wear out prematurely. It does. I mean, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's got just the slightest amount of play, and that's good, just like that. So, got a new cotter pin, like I said earlier. I am going to put it down through and bend it. After it's bent, I'm going to put this cap back on. And you can see I filled the cap with grease because I want it to have basically be completely full and pushing grease into the middle, where I put all the extra grease in the middle, just so it keeps these bearings really well lubricated. I might end up getting bearing buddies for this, or yeah, I'll probably end up getting bearing buddies for this, just because I think it's a good concept. What a bearing buddy is it's a cap just like that, but in the middle it has a spring and a Zerk fitting. So as you pump it full, it pushes away from this and fills up with grease. Now that spring holds constant pressure on the grease, and as you're going and using the trailer, it pushes the grease into the middle and keeps clean grease going into the bearings. I think it's a really good concept. They're kind of expensive, but you know, they'll make these bearings last forever. It just keeps you from having to worry about it. But if you like this video, or if this video helps you, please subscribe and like the video. Thanks for watching.